Hey, welcome. Thanks everyone for jumping on tonight. Appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to get onto this call. And if you are watching the recording, thanks for watching the recording. So tonight's topic is Eternity. It's a resveratrol product. It's one of my favorite products that Sisel make. So we'll get started here. And we've got the lovely Rosalind Saunders is co-host tonight, letting people on. So thank you, Ros, for doing that. I appreciate that. Before we get started, just a disclaimer, medical disclaimer. So none of the information I'm sharing tonight is designed to treat, prevent, or cure or diagnose any disease or illness. And the information in this presentation has not been evaluated by the FDA, Food and Drug Administration. And if you are unwell, please do seek assistance from your healthcare professional and seek guidance from them. That would be a great idea. Let me just tend to the next slide. Okay, so just a little bit about myself. My name's Katie Larking. I'm a health and nutrition coach. I've been with Sisel for about 14 years. So I joined in 2011. And I did start with Tom's previous company, which was New Ways. So many of you who are on the call tonight may be familiar with New Ways. And if you are, welcome. Welcome back to the home of the Mao mission where it all started. And the mission continues today with Sisel. So I'm very much in line with the Mao mission, as I'm sure many of you are, and that is to inform, empower, and educate people about making healthier health and lifestyle choices. And that is really what underpins the Mao mission. So my story started with my father. He was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's at the age of 54, and I was only 21 at that time. So that was pretty devastating, as you can imagine. And I was desperately searching for every possible cause that could have contributed to him getting so sick at such a young age. My initial discovery, so research led me to chemical exposure as one possible contributing factor and environmental toxins. I found a toxic guide in the gym, called the number, and that led to a presentation about New Ways and the company offering high quality products with a fantastic mission. So I was particularly concerned about my father absorbing chemicals through his toothpaste and skin, and given he had swallowing difficulties, that was of great concern for me at that time. So I needed a toothpaste that he could really safely ingest. So initially I was hesitant on the price because I was concerned, thinking, I can find a cheaper alternative. I could shop around. I think I could do better on the price. But sort of after a week, I realized that getting everything from one trusted source and products that are formulated by a scientist with knowledge about toxins and extensive knowledge about health, also being a two-time Genius Award winner for product formulations. I felt, really comfortable with making that choice because it was a trusted source. So knowing that my father could safely swallow toothpaste was a great relief. So my journey solidified with the Mao mission. And when New Ways was sold in 2006, I was quite upset. I was worried about the product quality declining. And then in 2011, I did discover Tom's new company, Sisel. So I joined immediately and I started forwarding the products to myself in Australia before they were available, and I have never looked back. So a bit about Sisel. So Sisel is into cutting edge research. They're a research and development company first and foremost, and they use the vehicle of network marketing to share the great products and get the message out there. It is the home of the Mao mission, as I've mentioned, with a little bit about the history. So Sisel is debt-free, so we don't have to worry about them going out of business. So that's reassuring. And they are protected by a dynasty trust, so it's going to be passed down through the family in the Mao family. So you can see on this picture here, we've got a picture of Tom Mauer Jr., Liesl Mauer, Caden Mauer, and Thomas Mauer, which are Tom's sons. So 3 generations strong in the Mao family. Also, Sisel has its own manufacturing facility, Supernaturals, and they own the facility and they produce all their own products. So they ensure complete control of overall quality from the raw ingredient to the finished product. While they manufacture for other companies, the Sisel range is truly unique, benefiting from the immense buying power of for the ingredients. It is unequivocally the home of the Mauer mission. So once again, welcome if you are here tonight and you've been with the Mauer's previous company. And I'm really pleased that you've joined Sisel, or perhaps you're thinking about joining Sisel. So as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about Eternity, which is one of my favorite products in the Sisel range. And Eternity is a perfect name for a superior concentrated elixir. Floods the body with high-powered antioxidants, including resveratrol, an ingredient that addresses the daily struggle we all face with oxidative damage from detrimental free radicals. Resveratrol is largely found in the skins of red grapes for protection, support against fungus, ultraviolet light, stress, or trauma. And it's interesting that resveratrol is protecting the plant from the harsh environment, and it may do the same for mankind. So mounting evidence demonstrates that resveratrol vigorously supports the vitality of a specific sirtuin gene called SIRT1. You may or may not have heard of this, but this gene supports the mitochondria, and the mitochondria is kind of a cellular battery that runs down as we age. So as we get older, our energy levels start to decline. So by recharging the batteries with resveratrol, the SIRT1 gene can have profound effects on our health, including longevity, weight release support, and energy levels. So that's really important to note. So it is a known fact that high amounts of resveratrol actually deliver impressive benefits. So it would take approximately 40 bottles of red wine to equal 1 ounce or 30 ml serving of Eternity. So you can't really get this from red wine, although it is found in red wine. And of course, there's many negative effects with drinking alcohol. There is about 350 milligrams of resveratrol per serving of Eternity. So that's also important to note. So it's a really high quality product with a good amount of resveratrol in each dose. Eternity's proprietary liquid support system is designed to protect it through the entire digestive process and deliver its nano-sized particles into the very cells that utilize them. So that is also a unique selling point of Sisel's Eternity. Holding Eternity in your mouth for approximately 60 seconds before swallowing will mix the enzymes in the mouth and greatly support its increased absorption and bioavailability. So we really want to get as much as we can into our system. It's a powerful antioxidant. It's loaded also with additional pigmented fruit extracts and energy boosting nutrients. It's part of the triangle of life. So if you've been on our previous calls, we've talked about some other products, including fucoidan we did last week. And then prior to that, we did Spectromax. And so those 3 products make up what's called Sisel's Triangle of Life. And you may be familiar with the Energy Trio from Tom's previous company. And so science has really advanced and come a long way. And these products are much more advanced nutritional products than in those days. But if you take these 3 products together, you would be flooding your body with important trace minerals, vitamins, and nutrients to achieve potentially strong anti-aging support properties. So science recognizes that free radicals can set off internal inflammatory cascades and damage DNA, which can become chronic, degenerative, and increase the aging process, which we definitely don't want to be doing. So resveratrol addresses these issues head on with its superior free radical scavenging capabilities and activation of SIRT1. So resveratrol is an antibiotic-like phytochemical produced by red grapes, which we did touch on earlier, and offers powerful immune support. So this ingredient combined with our signature energy and antioxidant blends constitutes an effective mix of energy-promoting nutrients and bioflavonoids that help to improve your stamina, endurance, and support your fight against free radicals. So Eternity contains really powerful ingredients, and some of these ingredients include grape skin, Chinese knotweed, green tea, and green coffee bean extracts. Also, you'll find in the product pomegranate, plum, and raspberry concentrates. So it's got a really good, viable antioxidant blend in this product. So what sets Sisel's Eternity resveratrol apart? And so we've got a couple of short videos that I will be showing tonight. We do have one from Tom Mao Sr., the late Tom Mao Sr. It's a short video. It does have the old packaging of Eternity. It is the same product. But the information is still really relevant. I thought many of you would enjoy hearing from him and the information he has to share about the product. So we will be sharing that video tonight. And then we've also got a really great testimonial too, which is really exciting to hear. So it's very important to note that Sisel nanosize and micro-encapsulate resveratrol. This increases the absorption rate greatly. So this was actually commented by the late Tom Mauer Sr. He said resveratrol is very active, but also an unstable molecule. And in most formulas, I believe it is virtually or greatly destroyed or damaged because of digestive processes, heat, light, and oxygen, which readily reacts with it. So it's really hard to keep the resveratrol intact. And Sisel have got a special process called microencapsulation to protect it from these damaging factors to a very high degree. Probably not completely, but it does a really great job. So Tom said that he believes most competitive products may start out with a reasonable amount of resveratrol, but because they do not protect it in the processing and when they're producing their formula, as Sisel does with the Eternity, their formula can be neutralized and inert basis for much of the resveratrol by the time the customer uses it. And then it is further degraded after it is ingested. So through travel, packaging, and then ingested, the resveratrol in products can be degraded. So Sisel's done a great job, again, at keeping it intact. So it is not always what is put in the formula, but what can get into the blood system. You did note that. It's quite a complex process, which virtually every manufacturer that I've seen making resveratrol formula does not take these factors into consideration and often sells a product that has much less to offer than a person would think it does. So Sisel takes this into account in making what I believe is by far the world's best formulation and truly more bioavailable and absorbable and active. So also a good tip to note when you are taking the Eternity product, if you hold it in your mouth for a minute or longer before swallowing, you could get as much as 250 times more in the blood system. It's just estimated. And that is the resveratrol, which is the active ingredient. You really want to get that into your system. I remember my doctor talking about resveratrol. So many of you may have heard of resveratrol, probably have heard of resveratrol. And he said that in his opinion, this was my GP, everybody should be taking a resveratrol supplement on a daily basis for the health benefits. So that was really interesting to hear him say that. So you're only as young as you feel, and Eternity can offer huge benefits in helping you feel younger. So consider making this part of your health regime, and you can add it in with the other products that make up the triangle of life. So we're going to hear from Tom Mauer Sr.
So if you go to the internet, look at PubMed.com, type in the name of whatever superfruit you're interested in, and you'll see there really aren't many scientific studies. So the reality is there's a lot of hype, but not much to support it. Here at Sisel International, we believe there are some spectacular ingredients found in nature. In fact, it is about half of all the pharmaceuticals developed today are based upon discoveries first found in nature, and then a synthetic version of them are made so that they can be sold as a prescription drug. But the science is based upon the natural ingredients, and that's what we do. We research the research to find out the extremely powerful ingredients, put them together in formulations in very high concentrations with a wide variety of the ingredients that are all achieving the same mutual synergistic goal. Now that sounds like a lot, so what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for extreme power. So what's the answer? Well, the answer is real simple. Take these powerful ingredients, concentrate them in the highest doses possible to achieve the results that science shows that they can do, and put them together in what we call a supersaturated solution. Eternity is our premier product that we sell, and it's supersaturated. In other words, it means that you cannot get any more material into solution or it settles to the bottom. And so you shake it and you have a highly concentrated ingredient that you take instead of a highly dilute drink. The effects are profound and the science is massive. Put resveratrol into PubMed, and you'll see there's over almost 4,000 studies on it alone. Plus, with the other ingredients that are used with it, there's a total of about 20,000 studies that are all scientifically based to validate the effectiveness of the ingredients that we're using in this formula. Now, granted, since we haven't tested our formula, we cannot make the claims that those ingredients do, but you have the right to look at them and to determine for yourself, is this really what we want to take? So you have a choice. You can take a highly dilute juice from some exotic location with very little science to support it, or you can take a supersaturated solution that is highly concentrated with 20,000 scientific studies to validate the effectiveness of the ingredients, not the formula, because we haven't tested that, but of the ingredients itself, and make a conclusion of which product you want to use. That's the mission of Sisel International. When we make an antioxidant product, we don't make an antioxidant, because one antioxidant doesn't neutralize the thousands of different types of corrosive free radicals that are in food, water, air, but we think it takes about 40. So we've made a super formulation, highly concentrated, with 40 different kinds of extracts of antioxidants to support your body's biology as it fights the most corrosive factors that we believe causes about 60 different diseases and rapid aging. So the choice can be made if you have the products at hand to achieve the results that you want. So don't get caught up in this super juice hype and hope, but the reality is something else. At Sisel, we have put a complement of products together to fight aging every step of the way, to support your body's quest for longevity and for youthful regeneration and for energy and vitality. And the proof is not in the jungles of some exotic berry that no one has ever heard of before. It's in the annals of science that's been discovered with powerful products, highly fortified to support your body to achieve the potential that we believe is possible.
How you doing? Sure, my pleasure. What I can tell you is that my story in and of itself is a webinar in itself, and there's really not ample time here left. I think we only have about 5 minutes to wrap this up. Is that right?
Yeah, that's okay. You can go a few minutes over. That's fine.
Well, I mean, what I want to just kind of summarize what we've seen here is these kinds of stories are what have been driving this opportunity from its inception back in 2006, 2007 area. And in my case, I've been able to build a very successful long-term business that's running 9 years strong now and growing.
Wow.
And it's all based on the incredible results that not only I have experienced, but that we're hearing from person after person, as we heard so far from the three people here that share their testimonials with us. What we have here truly is a phenomenon. We have a company that's delivering the world's most scientifically advanced products out of the most advanced nutritional manufacturing facility of its kind on the planet. And these are products that deliver results that are above and beyond anything we've ever seen before from nutrition. Yeah. I know that myself because I battled heart disease for 32 years, trying every nutritional product under the sun without any positive benefits as verified by medical blood tests. And it wasn't until I got on Sisel's Eternity back in 2009, and I was literally knocking on the door, knocking on death's door. I had undergone 4 angioplasties, had 6 stents in my heart, and these procedures were getting closer and closer over the 12 years prior to Sisel. And guess what? All of those stent implants came to a dead stop the moment I got on Eternity. After just 6 weeks on it, the doctors were so amazed with how low my cholesterol and triglycerides level had dropped. They had dropped to the lowest levels in my, at that time, 32-year recorded medical history. I was 58 back then.
Wow. And how much were you taking?
I was only taking, the original Eternity was only a 500 milliliter bottle, and the dose was a ½ ounce. Now the new product is 3/4 of an ounce out of a 750 milliliter bottle. So I was only taking the standard dose at that time, a ½ ounce. But the important thing is that you have to take that like the newer product. You take it in one tiny sip at a time, swizzle the sip around in your mouth and swallow. Then take the next one. Take it in slowly. I call it sip, swizzle, and swallow. And with the 3/4 ounce serving, which I recommend you get a calibrated shot glass to accurately measure it out, it's also 3 capfuls. A capful on the bottle is 1/4 ounce on all the Triangle products. So you do 3 capfuls into a small juice glass, you've got 3/4 ounce. Take that amount down as very tiny sips. I counted. You can get 21 sips if you take small enough sips. So each morning, I do my 21 gun salute with my 21 tiny sips, sip, swizzle, and swallow one at a time. And that gets maximum absorption into, you're going to get about 80% of it right through the tissues of your mouth. You swallow the 20% that doesn't get absorbed, and you just do this until you finish it, and then fill it up with water at least 2 to 3 times and drink it down. You want 2 to 3 water chasers, and that's going to get this product into your body, and you're going to get the most potent and effective resveratrol product on the market that's going to deliver high potency resveratrol in a form that can be utilized by the cells of the body and on a cellular level because of the nanosizing and solution. And the net result is that working with my doctors, I was able to work out a plan. They didn't believe my first blood test result. They thought the results were too good to be true. They couldn't believe that all of a sudden, over 32 years of medical blood tests, all of a sudden I come up with the lowest cholesterol and triglycerides. I lower than what they could get on the medication. Of course, none of the other nutritional products I tried over those 32 years did anything to lower those levels. But here I am showing up with the lowest levels they've ever seen in 32 years. And they said, well, let's see what it looks like when you come back 4 months later for your next blood test. When I repeated the same results with the cholesterol and triglycerides lower than they've ever seen in my 32-year history at that time, I was able to get them to work out a plan, a 12-month plan to get gradually weaned off the medication and to make what they characterize in their own words as a spectacular recovery from heart disease. I'm now off all the medication. And for a guy who after 6 stents couldn't walk more than 2 miles an hour and who was knocking at death's door and didn't think I would live to see my sons graduate from college at age 58, now at age 67, I can run 5 to 10 miles an hour on a treadmill with no problem. I'm in a great state of health. And thanks to Sisel, I was able to just recently attend my oldest son's wedding just this past month. I lived to see something I never thought I'd live to see, thanks to Tom Maurer and Sisel International. That's how tremendous of a result I've had with this company.
That is absolutely awesome. And so with the product that you're taking, Eternity, you said, swishing it in your mouth and holding it and doing it very slowly. How much of a difference do you personally think it makes doing that versus just taking it and shotting it quite quickly to, I guess, your overall results?
According to Tom Maurer, taking it in slowly like that increases absorption into the body by as much as 400%. So the results are that much better. So if you're not getting the kind of results you expect from Eternity, try taking it in very slowly, 1 tiny sip at a time, sip, swizzle, and swallow each sip. And then the slower you take it in, the longer you take to take it down, the greater the absorption you're going to get into your body and the better results. Of course, since then, I've also added other products like the fucoidan, which dropped my PSA score from 3.9 all the way down to 1.9, to the amazement of my doctors, because they never seen anything that can lower PSA score in men. The dental products got rid of my gum disease that I was battling with for years. And the age pill, it enabled me to break what I call the 160-pound barrier. You see, I lost about 20 pounds over my 9 years with Sisel, but try as hard as I could on the exercise mill and, on the treadmill and whatnot, I couldn't get back under 160 pounds. Little did I know that was lipofuscin and glycation built up in my body. Guess what? After 2 months in the age pill, and folks, you got to exercise to really get the full results. You can't just take it and sit on the couch and eat potato chips. You got to get on that treadmill, go for that walk, do that cardiovascular workout, right? Get that, get the exercise in. But after 2 months, I lost the 10 pounds I couldn't lose for like the last, 30 years. And I'm back now at age 67. I'm back to the weight I was back in my 20s. I'm back to 150 pounds. And when you get rid of all that gunk, that cellular garbage that builds up in your body, you notice some amazing things. First of all, I feel like someone took a 10-pound sack of potatoes off my shoulder. I'm lighter on my feet without the weight. And because you're flushing the garbage out of the cells, your brain works better, your heart works better. My eyesight has improved so dramatically that just last month, on a fundus eye scan test that was performed by my eye doctor, and he's the same doctor who did the last test I had 5 years ago, where they take a high-resolution picture of the inside of your eyes, and they can gather all this medical information about your health. They can tell not only if you have glaucoma and other eye abnormalities, like macular degeneration and cataracts, but they can also tell by this scan if you have high blood pressure, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, even diabetes. And when he looked at my first scan 5 years ago, he was amazed. He said to me, how old are you? And back then I was 62. He goes, I'm looking at the eyes of a 30-year-old. You're a 20-year-old. You look at perfect health. I told him on this recent visit, I've been on this age pill for a year now, and I want to see if the age pill has made a difference. So he said to me, all right, let's see. And he told me in his own words, he goes, I have to tell you, I am impressed. He said, I see no aging here. He brought the scan results from 5 years ago and put them side by side on the screen with the current scans. And he said, look, they look identical. There's no aging here. I've never seen this before. This is, he says, this is very impressive. And my eyeglasses, which I took off because they were, causing reflection here on the screen, didn't need to be changed. He said, you can use the same prescription that I gave to you 5 years ago because your eyes haven't aged like everyone else normally does. He says, we can keep the same eyeglasses, your eyesight. In fact, you're seeing better now with this prescription than you were 5 years ago. And that prescription he gave me 5 years ago, he told me he was giving me a much weaker prescription that he normally gave to people of that age, 62. So now I have positive medical confirmation that the age pill has for sure helped, reverse aging, because I have no aging in my eyes, and the indicators of my overall health are spectacular. There's medically documented proof of how incredible this product is. And all I can say at this point, I want to sum it up by saying that degenerative aging is a treatable and reversible condition now, thanks to the age pill. As you get old, you don't have to rot and fall apart now. You can rebuild the cells. You can rebuild the stem cells so that the stem cells, instead of being, all decrepit and with age, you got healthy stem cells replacing the current cells. And you're going to notice over time that you start to look younger, you feel younger. And boy, you should have seen me on a dance floor at my son's wedding. I was out dancing everyone. No one could keep up with my foot, my foot's up. I could literally dance down the floor, and I had someone take a video of me, and they actually could see when they paused it, but I was airborne several points where both my feet were off the ground as I'm dancing. That's the kind of energy I have with the age pill and with these great products from Sisel. I highly recommend everyone give it a try. You'll be very impressed with the results.
Fantastic. Well, what a brilliant testimonial. It's just really heartwarming to hear your story, especially because, there's many people out there with heart conditions and issues, and they feel like, it's a downward spiral, and you're living proof that you can really turn it around.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Degenerative aging is not something that you have to live with. It's something that you can combat and you can overcome with the age pill and all the other great supportive products that make this age pill work like nothing you've ever seen before. It truly is amazing. And I will say that based on this, those entrepreneurs out there, you can definitely build a very solid long-term residual income with these incredible products like I've been doing for the last 5 years. Last 9 years.
Fantastic. And just one last question. You said you do exercise, and that's helped tremendously because that helps to, I guess, accelerate the effects of the age pill because you're turning over new cells because you're exercising. What sort of exercise do you do, just for those watching?
My favorite #1 exercise is working out on the treadmill. I do a 37-minute workout, 5-minute warm-up. Then I do a nice good run where I start out and gradually build speed. I do a 3.5-minute burst. During that, then I come back. My average speed is about 2.8 miles an hour. Incredible for a guy who couldn't walk more than 2 miles an hour 9 years ago before the Sisel. And then I do a 5-mile-an-hour burst toward the end. And then I do a long cool down. So about 35 to 37 minutes, an average speed of about 2.9 miles an hour. But you really got to get out there. I found that regular walking is good, but you have to do the elevated cardiovascular workout to really get that flushing action of the age pill to be optimized. And that's when I saw the pounds coming off. Because I started out just walking around the lake with my wife, and I was getting so results. But when I went back to my treadmill workouts, which, by the way, I take my 4 Restore before the treadmill workouts, and then I take the Sisel Rip afterwards. And I tell you, I take that 4 Restore in a glass of water, and I get on that treadmill, I could smell the rubber burning. I have such an incredible workout. And the endorphin that your body generates when you exercise, that gives you this natural, really good high, this good feeling, it's maximized. I get off the treadmill, and I feel like the happiest guy in the world, so incredible.
It does maximize it.
Then I have my Sisel Rip right after that, and I take the rest of my supplements. And I tell you, what an incredible workout experience you can have when you incorporate full restore before you work out and sizzle ripped afterwards, and I'm throwing the good things like the age pill. Well, I actually take 3 capsules of the age pill and 4 capsules of full restore before I get on the treadmill. And then after, while drinking down my sizzle rip, I'll take my brain vitality, and I'll take my renovator, and I'll take my some of the other products like the Super Omega Plus. Okay, and I also take the Energy for Him. That's a great product. And I take the Vital Vision just to help, with the eye health. And of course, I take the TSX as well. I'm only taking 1 capsule a day right now, and I'm looking to boost that up and increase that. But so far, I'm doing absolutely spectacular with the products. Incorporate these products into your workout along with the age pill, and you're just going to be amazed at how great you're going to look and feel. Just give it a try. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. You will be impressed.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you for being on the webinar today. And thanks, Randy, for joining us too. For everyone who's on watching.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. So I hope everyone has a great weekend. We're going to leave it there. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Hey. So that concludes the presentation tonight. Thanks for watching, and please get back to the person who shared this recording with you or invited you to the call tonight. So thanks for getting on, and hopefully we'll see you on next week's call, which will be the same time, 8:30 on Wednesday evening. I'll send the recording out for anyone who would like to share the recording, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Katie.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks, Kate.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.